Happy to have Josh Fremd back on the show, who picked up his first official UFC win, this time at UFC Vegas 71 over Sedriques Dumas with a round two guillotine choke. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Yeah, it's nice to be on here with you again.
Absolutely. Happy to have you back, man. And you get that first win inside the octagon. How does that feel? Is it more of a relief after those first two fights, or does it just feel kind of like you validated something to yourself and to the people out there that maybe, didn't know that you could, be as good as you actually, showed on Saturday night?
Kind of both, honestly. I know my teammate Dustin Jacoby. He always tells me like just got to get the first one out of the way. After the first one's done, like smooth sailing. Will obviously going to be hard fights, but just mentally getting over that initial one. And yeah, kind of, I didn't really care to validate anything to anyone else, outside of the cage or anything. It's more or less for myself, like I kept saying like, oh, I belong here. I belong here. I deserve a seat at the table. But it's one thing to say it, and then it's a different thing to actually believe like, oh, like maybe I do belong here, So it was nice to go and validate for that for myself. Like no one else gets in that cage with me, so I don't really care what anyone else thinks. I wanted to validate it to myself, and also, show my teammates and my coaches that the work that they put into me isn't, for naught.
Absolutely. I mean, great answer. And that's pretty much what I thought you'd say. Going into it though, Josh, did you feel added pressure, being 0-2 in the UFC? I mean, getting this win was important. Did you feel that extra pressure?
No, no. I put so much pressure on my last fight. I did absolutely every single thing right. Anything that you could think of for a camp, for a cut, for anything, it was all right. I was so like, I thought to myself, for sure, if I lost this second one, they'd get rid of me. Thankfully, they gave me another opportunity. It was short notice, and absolutely nothing went right. So it is what it is. I told myself at the end of the day, we're just getting into a fight. Anytime that little pressure or thoughts popped in my head, I just kind of pushed them out and I said, no, I believe I can do this. I can and I will. And I just kept repeating those two sayings, like I can and I will, to myself. Like even in the cage when I was pacing back and forth, like I can do this.
I'm sure you've seen that there's a lot of people that are very intrigued with MMA betting nowadays. I mean, it's blowing up that you see it all the time, all these different betting podcasts. It's all over YouTube. And I was a little surprised going into this one that you were such a significant underdog. I thought it'd be a lot closer, especially for a guy making his actual UFC debut. Did that give like an added chip on your shoulder? Did that bother you to even pay attention to that stuff?
Man, everything puts chips on my shoulders. I take everything personally. So, yeah, I mean, I saw the lines, and obviously, I can't bet or do anything like that. But just seeing people throw so much money on this kid who is unproven, and I think it's just honestly the optics of how I got choked out in my last fight. People don't remember the first round. They don't remember like what happened before. I literally put myself in that choke, so it was kind of upsetting. Like all they saw was that last part. So that's what's ingrained in people's heads. They have this undefeated guy coming in here 7-0. I'm 0-2. What do you think they're trying to do? They're trying to push this kid on my name. So a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And I've seen a lot of people who knew what they were talking about and they betted on me. They went with the smart money, and, good for them.
Mm. I don't know if you've seen the podcast I do with Joseph Holmes, but I picked you. I'm just saying. I'm just going to get that out there.
Hey, did Joseph Holmes not pick me?
I can't remember now. We do so many picks. I have to go back and think about it. But all I know is I picked you, so that's what matters.
Because I'm a petty dude. Trust me, I see it all. I know a lot of people that I've interacted with, that I've talked to. They didn't pick me, so we'll have words. And Joe, I hope you were smart, man. I hope you were smart.
Man, tell me about the game plan going in against Dumas. Did you have one?
I didn't have any game plan. Like I said, it was short notice. I didn't bog myself down with details of this, that, and the other. I train every single day. I train everything from kickboxing to wrestling to jiu-jitsu. I like to be well-rounded and versed. And I truly believe that if I go out there and if I'm mentally there, I have all the physical gifts, I have all the tools, I have all the skill sets. I just needed to get this in order. And I believe this last fight I did. I told myself that I'm just going to go out there and be Josh Fremd, go fight to the capability that I know. I know instinctually when we're out there, like there isn't a lot of thinking. You go off instinct, you go off of what you were training and what you're pretty much born to do. And that's what I told myself, whether it was on the feet, in transition, in clinch, on the ground, I was going to be the better person.
In the first round, you looked real good. You landed some leg kicks. You got a takedown. You ended the round in the clinch. You landed some knees. How did you feel with what you accomplished in the first round, moving into the second? What did your corner tell you?
My corner just told me to stay balanced. Sometimes I get over anxious and I just want to throw everything into a punch. So just be balanced, breathe. Uh, yeah, like motion relieves tension. So anytime that I felt myself getting tensed or antsed up, I would just use my footwork, use my breathing, calm myself down, and smooth is fast. So as long as I could stay smooth and balanced, I was good to go.
Run me through the finish. How did that present itself?
Well, I made a mistake on top. I let him get an underhook, and that dude has the longest arms that anyone I've ever fought. He was able to get a body lock on me and kind of switch the position on the cage. I tried to start fighting underhooks. He went to go take the back, and it's something that I've done. I do in practice almost all the time. It's something I learned in high school wrestling. Is just right when someone's going to get to the back, I literally just do a swim like Michael Phelps, and he fell right off. And as soon as he fell off, I grabbed the neck because you're falling down to brace yourself. I didn't know I had it. I just felt me grab the neck. I started trying to inch my hips in, get closer. And thankfully, I was right next to my corner. I looked over at my corner and they were yelling, squeeze, squeeze. So that's what I did. And he tapped.
And can you try to explain that moment, that feeling when you got your hand raised, you got that win? I mean, in that moment right there, is there anything that you accomplished previously that you felt could compare to that?
No, absolutely nothing. Maybe my first amateur fight when I was in college and everything. I was like just so amped to do it, but no, man, that was kind of nerve wracking for me because I was kind of scared I would never get that feeling. And that right there was pretty much everything that 13-year-old Josh ever wanted to do, besides playing baseball for the Pirates. Like once that was gone, I fighting, it took over my life, wrestling and fighting. And I just told everyone, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. Everyone laughed at me because I was a scrawny kid with some bushy hair. No one really knew. Like, we're like, oh, that kid's not going to do that. So it was everything to get. As soon as he tapped, I didn't even need the ref to stop me. Like I was done. I was like, all right, that's it. That's the greatest feeling in the world right there.
How'd you celebrate?
I did not sleep. I'll tell you that much. I had a couple buddies from back in Pittsburgh. They came out and watched me fight, and we went out, had a good time in Vegas. I flew back to Denver Sunday, continued that train rolling. I had a couple friends who were in college with me who live out here with me now, and we went and just hung out in Denver, had a good Sunday, and I think around Sunday night is when I went to bed.
Wow. Well, good for you, man. You deserve it. When you do cheat, what is the go-to food or drink? Is there something that you make a beeline for first?
Oh man, I don't I don't really know because like I'm a huge proponent of just eating the same thing every day. Like I love a good steak. My girl and I, we love going to get tacos. So I guess it would probably say birria tacos. Like that's part of my diet. I put that in there, in a healthy way. But I'd say birria tacos and tequila and beer. I'm a big fan of tequila, so that's straight for that.
Okay, fair enough. I like it. How big are you getting these days? What is the weight cut like to get down to 185?
Dude, normally it's pretty easy. I'm not gonna lie, this last one was probably the hardest one I've ever had. But normally it's cake. Like my last 8, 9 fights have been so easy. It wasn't a problem. Um, I thought I started at the same weight that I did normally when I cut, because my first fight in the UFC was on short notice, and that cut was money. I think that the reason this one was so hard is because I got out of my normal routine and what I do. I wanted to go cut weight with my teammate at the Performance Institute, and I haven't used a dry sauna to cut weight in years because I don't like to get my head hot because it makes it just that much harder. So I use those little portable box saunas where my head's exposed. So I think that's what maybe did it for me.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Man, I've never tried one of those portable box saunas. I was in the sauna this morning at the gym. How good do those work? Do they really strip the weight right off?
Yeah, and I think it just helps because you can sit in it so much longer. Like what I normally do is I'll sit in there and whether it's me and my coaches or I've cut weight with teammates before, we just throw on a movie or two and just sit there for hours in the sauna. You can't do that in a dry sauna. That's if you're in there for like 30 minutes, you're like, I got to get out of here.
Mhm. Yeah, that was me this morning. So I feel that I'm gonna have to try out the method that you use one of these days soon. Now, Josh, as I said earlier, man, it's been quite a while since I have spoken with you last. So I just kind of wanted to go back a little bit and just get maybe a couple of takeaways that you learned, or how you grew from those losses to Trayshawn and Anthony.
Anthony's what I took away from that one was hey, this call could come at any moment. You're not guaranteed a camp. You're not guaranteed anything. Like stay ready. Don't do that. Don't make that mistake again. And with the Trayshawn one, what I took. Oh, and also with Anthony, like let's be real, Anthony's one of like the better guys in the division. Like he's getting up there. He's on a run now, and I could hang with him. I was just a little bit out of shape because it was on 7 days notice, but I felt like I hung with him pretty well. If I was in shape, who knows? I might have won that fight. With the Trayshawn fight, uh, this I just needed to get this in order because I I felt good in that fight. Everything like I said, I did correct. I cut weight perfectly in the first round. I was looking good striking. I just made a mental mistake and he capitalized on it. Good on him. He was in a pickle like I was just there. He was 0-2. I was just 0-2, and good on him. He, kind of realistically motivated me in a sense because I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. Come on, like let's go and get this. Let's get back to training. Let's get to work. I just we read a lot of books out here as a team on Factory X, so I just dove back into some books. Just started getting my mind right, telling myself that I didn't lose that fight in a horrible fashion. Yeah, I got caught and choked out, but I was winning up until that. So I had to remind myself that this game is finicky. Anything can happen at any second. Just gotta believe in myself.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Well, I'm so excited for you that you got this monkey off your back. You got this first win. Let's talk a little bit about your teammates, Dustin and Cody. They got a couple of big fights around the corner. Dustin's facing Mirzakhanov. Cody's taking on Rodolfo Vieira. How do you see those matchups going when you look at them objectively? What are those fights going to look like?
Good thing you said the word objectively, because like I'm immediately, oh, my boys got it. Yeah, no, that's a solid matchup for both of them. They're tough matchups. It's not no walk in the park for either of them. But if Dustin Jacoby is just one of the most confident guys that you'll ever come across. He's a hard worker. He honestly is a leader for the big guys. He's not a huge talker. He's not gonna hoorah, blah blah blah. He'll show you what needs to be done, and you better get in line and follow it. I do think I see Dustin winning that fight in a crazy knockout fashion because coming off his last fight, which personally I think he won, and everyone else thinks he won, except the three people sitting there at the cage side. Uh, he's going to come back with a chip on his shoulder, and he is going to go out there and have a performance of a lifetime. Cody Brundage, man, people really think that this fight that he's going into is a grappler versus grappler. Cody's striking has come leaps and bounds since he's gotten here, and even since his last fight. he's just dove back into the gym in a crazy way, and he's just leveling up every single day. I definitely see, Cody catching Hidalgo and Hidalgo trying to shoot in. You're not taking down Cody Brundage. I'm sorry. He's just too good. He's going to make Hidalgo gas, and I could see Cody finishing with a guillotine.
Are you going to be in either of their corners come fight night?
I don't believe so. Cody and DJ usually corner each other, and I know that their fights are close to each other. So I'm not sure. Maybe when I get back to the gym this week, we'll see.
All right. Well, again, Factory X, you guys just keep on growing and getting bigger and better. So many great fighters that are training out of there, and yourself right included in that group. Give me a title pick here. We got Pereira and Adesanya for the middleweight title right around the corner. How do you see that fight going? Do you think Izzy gets the belt back?
Man, I'm such a huge fan of Izzy. Like ever since I was in college, I my heart wants Izzy to have it. My mind's telling me I don't know if he can, and I don't know what's the point if he does. Like if he does win it back, are they going to run it back a third time? Uh, who knows? But I think we're going to see a different style Izzy coming out here. So I'm going to go with Izzy for sure.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking too. As far as this weekend goes, Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman are rematching for the welterweight title. Do you feel like we're going to see a new champion here? Will Kamaru get the belt back, or do you think we'll have Ann still with Leon?
I think we're going to have a new. Again, Kamaru was winning that fight up until he wasn't, that one split second. And I love watching the video of Rocky in his corner and his coaches, and with John Anik in his call there. That's just it. It's so motivating and everything, but you just can't get away from the facts that Kamaru was handedly winning that fight up until that point. I think we're going to see a very motivated Kamaru, and he's going to come out and get his belt back.
Yeah, I think he finishes them. What do you think?
I do think he's going to finish him.
Yeah, that's not what I want to have happen, but that's what I think is going to happen. So we'll see what transpires this Saturday. Josh, as far as what's next for you, give me a time frame of when you want to jump back in there. And is there anyone in mind? I don't feel like you're the type of guy that's going to be trash talking and calling people out, but is there someone that you feel like would be a good dance partner?
Yeah, I mean, I'm healthy. I'm just taking a week off the gym, letting my I got some serious mat burn on my knees, so I'm just, chilling on that aspect. But end of summer, I'd be down to get back in there end of summer. As far as dance partners, man, I know there's a lot of people out there that would be a fun dance partner. Dennis Tulum, we got Claudio Ribeiro. Anyone who wants to go in there, honestly, like I said, I'm 1-2. I can't be out here picking fights. Like whoever they put in front of me, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna go do my job. Let me win a couple, let me get on a win streak, and then you'll start hearing me calling people out.
Sounds good, my man. Well, listen, congrats on the win at UFC Vegas 71. Very happy for you, and we look forward to seeing you back in action. Hopefully, this summer will be when your next fight does go down. Before we do sign off, I want to kick it over to you. Tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, again, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's always fun coming on here talking with you. You can check me out on Josh Fremd MMA on Instagram, Josh Fremd on Twitter. I'm trying to be more active on Twitter. I don't have a lot to say, so I don't usually tweet that much, but I'm trying. And huge shout out to Eddie Holmes back in Pittsburgh, 412 shop, sent me a nice little care package. All my friends back in Pittsburgh, thank you for supporting and sticking with me.